Welcome back to our series. Today, we enter Proverbs chapter 16. As we move deeper into the collection of Solomon's Proverbs, we encounter a manual that bridges the gap between human effort and divine sovereignty. This chapter acts as a spiritual grammar for understanding that while we plan our course, it is the Lord who establishes our steps. Let's discover how these ancient couplets offer a profound guide for our modern hustle and our deepest anxieties. The plans of the mind belong to mortals, but the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. Commit your work to the Lord, and your plans will be established. In their hearts, humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps. Solomon establishes an, quote, epistemological anchor. While humans are responsible for thinking and planning, the final outcome, and even the right words to say, come from God's sovereign control. To commit your work means to align your efforts with God's purposes, trusting that He will provide the staying power for your life's direction. Our modern culture often prioritizes manifesting and total self-reliance. Proverbs chapter 16 offers a humbling corrective. We are invited to plan with diligence, yet we must hold our outcomes loosely, recognizing that true success is a gift from the Creator rather than a self-made achievement. The Lord works out everything to its proper end. When a man's ways please the Lord, He makes even his enemies at peace with him. Wisdom requires seeking God's delight rather than human clout. Solomon suggests that righteousness has a restorative effect on our surroundings. When we live in harmony with God's design, it can even diffuse social hostility and bring about a supernatural reconciliation. We often focus on managing our personal brand or public perception to diffuse conflict. Solomon redirects our focus to the interior mirror. If our ways please the Creator, He manages the complexities of our social and professional relationships. Better is a little with righteousness than large income with injustice. Honest balances and scales are the Lord's. All the weights in the bag are His work. Solomon continues the theme of marketplace integrity. Honesty in trade is not just a social contract. It is a spiritual act, because God built the world to run on fairness. Deceit is seen as a disgrace that undermines the very fabric of society. In professional environments, stretching the truth for profit is often seen as a necessary part of the hustle. Proverbs chapter 16 verse 11 reminds us that every transaction is in full view of the all-seeing eye, and character must always outlast capital. It is an abomination to kings to do evil, for the throne is established by righteousness. Righteous lips are the delight of a king, and he loves those who speak what is right. Wisdom is the quote of statecraft. Solomon argues that political stability and authority are impossible without a foundation of justice. A wise leader is one who loves truth and rejects the perverse tongue. We often measure leaders by their power or economic success. Proverbs chapter 16 verse 12 provides a different metric: the character worth and probity of those in positions of influence, asserting that only authority built on righteousness can truly endure. Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. It is better to be of a lowly spirit among the poor than to divide the spoil with the proud. Pride is a reality rejection that leads to an inevitable crash. Solomon warns that a haughty spirit is a precursor to a fall, while a lowly spirit provides the humility necessary to receive wisdom and honor. Today, aggressive self-promotion is often praised as a virtue. Solomon warns that this hubris syndrome, the belief that one is beyond accountability, is a highway to destruction. The heart of the wise makes their speech prudent and their lips persuasive. Gracious words are a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and healing to the bones. Wisdom shows up in the mouth. A gentle tongue is described as a tree of life and a honeycomb, capable of providing spiritual nutrition and healing to a broken situation. In an age of constant online noise and unfiltered reactions, we often value being right over being fit. Solomon calls us to a higher ethic, recognizing that speech is an art form that can either heal bones or act like sword thrusts. Scoundrels concoct evil, and their speech is like a scorching fire. A perverse person spreads strife, and a whisperer separates close friends. Solomon reveals the deceptive sweetness of slander. Gossip acts as a poison that sustains the fire of conflict, separating even the closest friends. Without the talebearer, strife naturally subsides. We are surrounded by tasty trifles of gossip and social media culture. Solomon reminds us that the trustworthy spirit who can keep a confidence is worth more than the burning lips that work ruin. One who is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and one whose temper is controlled than one who captures a city. Wisdom is characterized by a cool spirit of restraint. Solomon identifies self-control, discipline, as the supreme achievement worth more than military conquest. This heroic strength allows one to resolve problems rather than merely expressing emotions. Modern culture often encourages us to give full vent to our rage as a sign of strength. Solomon offers a strategic alternative. Patience and gentleness are not weaknesses, but skill for living that provides stability in the midst of conflict. Proverbs chapter 16 tells us that commitment is the key to an established life. Verse 3. It promises that if we choose humility over pride, integrity over profit, and self-mastery over rage, our path will be one of life indeed. Which area of your life, your plans, your pride, or your words, needs the fountain of life today? Join us next time as we explore the dry morsel of chapter 17. Like and subscribe for more.